Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we are sipping on a little bit of coffee for the afternoon. Now, it is not raining, sadly. It has not rained, well, we've had a couple evening showers, but sadly not enough to do much good. I love a great rainstorm. Love a great rainstorm. And I don't know when we're going to get another rainstorm. I was looking at my forecast, and it looks like these next 2 weeks are not going to bring too much rain, and I'm a little disappointed. So, August, you need to get yourself together and bring on the rain. We had about 2 weeks back in July that were like stormy weather, and I loved it so much, and I tried to create lots of like what I call good content. I don't know what you guys call it. Bookish related content. And how I ran out of rain days. So, oh well. We try to record when it's raining. I have a nail. Now this is the SNS stuff that they usually dip it in the powder, but I still have one on this pointer finger that has lifted from the base and is still attached and at the front, and it's driving me crazy. I tried to super glue it twice just until I can get to the nail salon, and I don't know if it's going to make it. I'm going to try to go after work tomorrow. Otherwise, I just don't know. The super glue did not hold. Maybe I need to go to Sally's and get some reparative glue for nail glue instead of just super glue. Probably the better idea. But I was trying to use what I had, and I just don't have any nail glue. But it keeps bothering me, so I keep messing with it. It's one of those things where it's like, when it bothers you, you mess with it. Well, that is not what we're talking about today. We are talking about The House on Graveyard Lane by Martin Edwards. And I will say, I thought this was going to be a spooky book. I think just the title alone, the cover, look, it looks like it's going to be a spooky book, right? It's a murder mystery. Totally fine. Just not what I thought it was going to be. When you tell me House on Graveyard Lane, I'm thinking ghost, I'm thinking supernatural, paranormal. I'm getting all excited because that's my favorite sort of vibe. I'm thinking I'm getting some ghosts. I want House on Haunted Hill vibes. I want all the spooky, creepy things. I want shadows out in the corner of your eyes. Love that so much. Creaking boards and hands reaching out from around a mirror or through a mirror. Give me all the spookiness. Yeah, I'll watch the videos on YouTube and creep myself out on purpose. Do I really think they're real? I don't know. But I don't spend too much brain power trying to debunk them either. There is this one guy on YouTube, I think his name is John Wolfe. And I do actually love watching him because he will sit there and do a lot of research and debunk some of the spooky ghost shows, and that's totally fine because I still am very fascinated by it. However, sometimes I just want to watch it for the sheer entertainment of pretending that it's possibly real. I can suspend my belief enough to be ooh, it's a ghost, ooh, I don't know. That's just me, but I read a lot of books, so my imagination runs wild all the time. Anyway, so back to this book, which I thought was going to be a spooky ghost book. It's a murder mystery, and now we can dive in. I want you to solve my murder, said the woman in white. Rachel Savernick. See, here we go. You say things in your head, and you're like, I've got it. And then you say it out loud, and it doesn't come out the way you said it inside of your head. And that's what I just did with that person's last name. Now, she is the main character. Rachel is the main character of this particular story. And this is supposedly the fourth book in her series. Now, I will say that this is my first one to pick up. I don't believe you have to read them in order according to what I had read previously. I wanted to make sure that you didn't need to be familiar with the Rachel Savernick, series in order to read this one, and you did not. But I think I also thought that there was going to be a little more paranormal involved in it with regards to what I had read. And so Rachel Savernick gave a sardonic smile. Quite a challenge. The Woman in White, surrealist artist Damaris Gethin, had invited a select group to the opening of her exhibit Artist in Crime, held in the eerie subterranean Hades Gallery. As costumed models reenacted famously violent deaths, the artist herself portrayed Marie Antoinette on the day of her execution, complete with guillotine on the stage. It's not a prop. Within 10 minutes of Rachel's promise to solve Damaris's future murder, the artist slips her neck into the collar of the device, and a very real blade sends her head rolling at the feet of her horrified audience. As everyone reels from the shock, Rachel quickly learns that Damaris herself accomplished the deed with the push of a button, a suicide. So then why does she ask Rachel to solve her quote-unquote murder? Keen for the hunt, Rachel begins sniffing around the other invited guests, including a former lover with a shady financial dealing, his widowed sister-in-law, and her has-been songwriter friend. However, crime reporter Jacob Flint, also in attendance, in hopes of meeting celebrated French beauty Kiki de Villers, allows his fascination with her to endanger his own life when a ruthless gangster returns to London looking to take back what's his. Equal parts thriller and whodunit, The House on Graveyard Lane leads Rachel and Jacob into the viper's pit of suspects, each sneakier and more venomous than the last. So it is a crime / thriller, mystery, historical fiction, etc. I will say it's not a super long book, and it does go by very quickly. I think I was able to read it in about 2.5 days is what I was like. I would say that was my dedicated amount of time. I think I started it loosely on a Friday evening, and I finished it by Sunday afternoon. It wasn't super hard hitting. It was very much like a whodunit. So, as with some other whodunit murder mysteries, and you can think like Agatha Christie and that sort of thing, where you have a main protagonist, Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple, who show up and solve crimes. You get Rachel, who she's the one who shows up and solves crimes. And her sidekick, I guess you could kind of call him, is Jacob Flint, who is also this kind of crime reporter. And at the time that he is introduced in this particular book, you more or less actually get this idea he's maybe writing a social column because he's really wanting to, I guess, put his eyes on or see this French beauty Kiki de Villers or what have you. So he's not really even paying attention to what goes on in the room so much. He's really more looking at this one particular girl who is supposedly really pretty. I do think I want to read more of this guy, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm bringing it to you all, is I am a big murder mystery fan. I like when I'm not sure what's going on, and I like when a book is able to keep me guessing until the end. I think this book, I was a little distracted at times because I think it tried to be, in my personal opinion, it tried to be a little too smart for its own good at times. Like, I don't want to say it talked down to me in a way, like crime solving way, but there were points where I didn't know if the author was trying to be like, oh, well, this is just, this is this and that is that. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to really explain that to me. I've read plenty of whodunit, like, crimes to solve. And I think that was what was being, or that's what I was receiving through his character, Rachel. Now, my name is Rachel, so I was like, well, I can kind of put myself into her shoes, but then I couldn't because I don't feel like I would have acted like her. Like, I just feel like I'm maybe not that, I don't know, not that sassy. I mean, I am sassy. I really am. You can talk to most people that I know, and they'll be like, girl. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm really nice, though. usually. Just don't cross me too much. um, but so Rachel at the very beginning of this book, I mean, like within the first chapter, she is entering this gallery where all these different crime kind of scenes have been set up, and a lot of people thought they were wax statues, but it's really real people who are kind of trying to hold still, almost re-envisioning these villainous scenes. So you have like a Lizzie Borden scene, and you have a couple other, I think Elizabeth Bathory is one of them as well. Well, Rachel walks in, and that's when Damaris sees her, and she's like, "Yeah, I've asked you to come because I want you to solve my murder." And so you would think that Damaris, the one who is the artist, the one who has put this entire show on, if she knows that someone is out to get her in some way, that maybe she wouldn't go through with what she's about to go through with, what she's about to do. But I guess for the sake of the art, she must go through with it. And so she does, which is she puts her head in the guillotine and she hits the button. And so everybody calls it suicide. Everybody calls it a self-end. And it's really not. It looks like it because that's just the way it is perceived in the book when she hits the button and it comes sliding down and everybody's like, "Oh no, I think this was real." And it was real. And that's where Rachel's like, "Well, I guess I need to figure out what just happened." Because a lot of people are like, "Well, why would she do this in front of people?" And some people are like, "Well, she's an artist, so of course this is what she would want to do. She would want to make it a big thing. She would want to make it a scene. It's going to be, much more of a, like, it's going to be a talked about thing if she does it in front of people sort of thing." And I don't know. I'm kind of curious, and I did read a review that I thought was very interesting, and so I want to take this particular person's, and this is Sandy's Book a Day, who made this thought. So I just wanted to read this. She said, "There's a lot of mystery surrounding the background of the lead character, Rachel, but it doesn't interfere with the main character or the main storyline at all." And that's good to know, is that even if this is book number 4, and Rachel's own background is mystery, that's good to know. But her main thought is that she thinks that most of the characters are interesting, and it sounds as though she has read some of the other books. Although this book calls it Sepulchre Street. And I'm not sure if that is a different title for the book or if it has just gotten a different title. But I do see she's got hashtag Sepulchre Street, and then when I scroll up a little bit and I look at some of the other titles and editions of the book, I do see in the hardcover book and the Kindle edition, it says Sepulchre Street. So it is very possible that one of the alternate titles of this book is called Sepulchre Street. And it does say here, now that I'm looking at it, first published January 1st of 2023, the original title was called Sepulchre Street. So putting that out there, and that may have been the original Kindle edition, I'm not sure. However, this edition, coming out August 27th of 2024, seems to be called The House on Graveyard Lane. And I don't know which one you guys prefer as a title. Sepulchre Street sounds kind of cool too, although I think the covers look similar enough that I probably still would have thought it was a spooky ghost book. I am glad that once I completed this book, I did go and look around a little bit to find out more information, to find out that it is part of a series, but they can be read independently, and that there is more information to be able to be read upon about the at least the main characters. So Rachel and Jacob. Um, I will say I think the ending was pretty well done. Like the reveal and everything. Whodunits usually do a pretty good job. Um, I think it was cleverly concealed towards the end, but some writers are pretty good at that. Some like keeping that all under wraps until you get there. Is it Agatha Christie clever? Maybe not, because I could never see hers coming. Like never. I don't know. Like, but the way she would get there was so roundabout, and yet once she would start untangling those strings, you were just like, my gosh, that is crazy wonderful. Like I just like I put her, she's like my epitome of whodunits. And so when I get to have other people who write in this genre, I tend to want to read them to just see where they fall in my categories. I'll read more by this writer. I think I may go out and try to find more of the books in this particular series just to see what else Rachel and Jacob are up to. I definitely would like to see what other crimes that they've solved. It looks as though the first one is called Gallows Court. The second is called Mortmain Hall. And the third is called the Arson. No, sorry, that's a different one. It looks like this author, Martin Edwards, is a very prolific crime writer or mystery writer per se. And so let's see. Number one, Rachel Savernick is Gallows Court. Number two of the Rachel Savernick is Mortmain Hall. And if we just were talking about number four, which is The House on Graveyard Lane or Sepulchre, then I'm not seeing book three right off the top, but that doesn't mean that, oh, there it is. Book three right there. I want to click it. The Puzzle of Blackstone Lodge. So there we go. So just to give you guys a little bit of other books that are in this group. Oh, it looks like we have a book 5 called Hemlock Bay. And so it does look like, at least as of currently, there are 5 books in the Rachel Savernick murder mystery crime series. Rachel Savernick, a wealthy heiress and amateur sleuth, set in and around London of the 1930s. So there you go. I liked it. I had a good time. I give this one a 4 stars. Again, because I think I set myself up thinking, and that, again, it might have been my fault. I thought with the cover and everything that it was going to have some spooky vibes regarding like ghosts and stuff. I didn't read the summary. That's my fault. I just maybe should read the summary a little more. But you tell me House on Graveyard Lane, I'm going to think spooky supernatural. And then I got a murder mystery, so still I wasn't mad because I like murder mysteries. Had a good time with it. Main character's name is Rachel. My main name. My real name is Rachel, so there we go. And I had a pretty good time with it. But I think I need to know more about Rachel and her dealings with her amateur sleuthing to find out if I want to continue reading about her. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you'll like and subscribe. I hope you'll come back and see what else we're reading later on, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye. And see you on the next page? Yeah, we'll do that too.